a good test for your degree of presence. So it gives you a reflection of how present you are or how non-present you are when something goes wrong. Was there a reaction of whatever kind? Against what is? What was your mind saying? What did you verbally say, comments to people around you? Or what did your mind comment about it? That's an interesting thing to look at. And accompanying the mental commentary, what was the emotion that went with it? And some of you, I'm sure, were already so present that there was no sense of upset, disappointment, anger, irritation, some kind of mental complaint. But if there was a reaction, then it's very useful retrospectively. Usually I don't like, as you know, don't like to go to the past, but from time to time can be helpful to look at a past reaction in which perhaps where you lost consciousness, you lost presence. And you don't beat yourself up. No, you just say, oh, that's interesting. There was the mind talking, and there was an emotion going with it. And I was completely that. I became that. It took me over. So whenever something goes wrong, big or small, you either react against it in one way or another. In other words, you are against what is, ultimately a dysfunctional state, which in extreme forms becomes insanity. Normal insanity, I mean. So the reaction against what is, or complete alignment with what is. And there you are. That means whenever something goes wrong, you either react or you go deeper into presence, deeper into yourself. You can notice that with little things. When little things go wrong, you go a little bit deeper to a place where you don't need the external to be this way or that way, because you already sense the fullness of life at this moment. You already sense yourself as consciousness, and nothing needs to be added to that. So sometimes it's only when things go wrong, quite often, it's only then, for many people who are not yet able to voluntarily enter presence, only then the possibility of going deeper opens up for them, or they become reactive. So another example, you're standing at a street corner, waiting to meet somebody for an appointment, and he or she doesn't turn up. So you stand there 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. What happens during that time inside you, in your mind, and what is your mind saying about it? And then, of course, the emotions that go usually are a reflection of what the mind is saying about it. It's an interesting thing to look at. What is it that your mind is commenting? And are you totally identified with what your mind is saying? Or do you realize, oh, these are just judgments that are coming up? And there's the possibility, the opportunity for letting go of all interpretations at that moment as you're standing there at the street corner, the person isn't turning up, letting go of all interpretations and just be there as the field of presence. So to do that, you go deeper within, where whatever happens on the surface of life doesn't determine any longer your state of consciousness, your happiness or unhappiness. And it's a wonderful sense of freedom, if you can be free of externals. And then at some point you call the person and say, where are you, or where were you? And then there may be a perfectly reasonable explanation why he or she couldn't come, or in which case all your mental commentaries, which were perhaps negative, are revealed as totally invalid, totally inaccurate. It was a total misinterpretation. That's possible. Or it could be that your mental commentaries were justified and that person says, oh, I completely forgot, I was doing something else. What's the reaction then in you? Am I of so little importance to this person that he or she forgot about our appointment? That's an interesting thought. And that thought can lead to many other thoughts. On a purely practical level, of course, if it happens several times and this person doesn't turn up, then you simply don't arrange to meet with this person anymore. And can you do this without any negativity around it? That's just what is. A very powerful state to immediately be with what is. That's what is. Instead of mentally saying it shouldn't be, or strengthen your ego by complaining about it. It's just the same as saying it shouldn't be. Because the more you can complain about somebody or something, the stronger the inflated ego becomes. Huffing and puffing, I call that. So the more you can huff and puff about people and what they do, or this person and that, of course, the ego feels bigger and bigger. It's like a balloon. The more you huff and puff, the bigger you get. Can you live without huffing and puffing? any complaining about others, what they do, what they fail to do, with huffing and puffing. If you make a commentary in order to point something out so that something practical can be done about it, is a different matter. But huffing and puffing is not like that at all. It has nothing to do with changing the situation. What it changes is the way in which you deal with the situation, which becomes dysfunctional. So you can tell a person's presence by observing another person. If that person never complains about anybody, that's a good sign. Presence doesn't complain about anybody. It's still relatively rare that you meet people like that. But perhaps you're already on your way, or perhaps you're already at that state where you have relinquished all that futility of complaining about other people. And really, the main reason why we are here, for example, doing our meditations, sitting together, is to go deeper into presence. Of course, yes, we also find out other things about dealing with the mind, as we've been talking about that today. But more fundamentally, we are here to deepen the presence, so that next time something goes wrong, which is probably quite soon, because little things tend to go wrong all the time, and I'm using conventional expression "go wrong" not because it doesn't mean nothing really goes wrong. Next time something goes wrong, discover your true power, which lies in non-reaction. You respond if some action is needed, different matter. You take action, but reaction is an inner state. It's not what you do or don't do externally. A fly is trying to land on my nose, wants to get a little taste of presence. So just let's say for the coming week, and hopefully beyond that, your spiritual practice is to welcome when things go wrong and see if you can be free of interpretation. If interpretation happens, you can recognize it and allow presence to arise.